Good morning, Flosstube. I'm Misty Purcell. Welcome to my channel. Today is Saturday, January 26th. If you've been here before, thanks for visiting again. And if you're new here, welcome. I've had a lot of new people visiting me lately, so thank you so much for checking me out and hope you'll enjoy hanging out with me today. I'm really excited about some of the things that I have to share with you. How have you been? It's been a while. 3 weeks seems like a very long time. A lot happens in 3 weeks, and I still haven't quite found the perfect balance of when I'm recording my videos. It seems still like 3 weeks is too long, and I'm concerned I'll forget things I want to share. But if I do 2 weeks, it feels like I have nothing to share. So I don't know how 1 week makes that much difference, but somehow it does. Yeah, but I've been doing some stitching. I've even been branching out. If you're newer here, you might not know that I'm a multi-crafter. So I've squeezed in a little bit of time to knit and a little bit of time to quilt lately, which has been pretty awesome. Coffee. It's freezing cold here in Pennsylvania today, so I heat up my coffee, and then about 3 minutes later it's cold again. And I even have the silicone lid to keep it warm. And that's kind of a thing in my family. So I think this must be genetic, but my grandmother really likes hot foods and drinks. So, I mean, if it's supposed to be hot, she wants it like scalding hot. My mother's the same way, and I am too. When I was a kid and we would go out for breakfast at a restaurant, we would ask for hot chocolate and we would tell them extra hot, because when they serve it to you in a restaurant, they don't make it very hot, and we always wanted it hotter, so we would ask them to make it extra hot for us. So yes, I like my drinks extra hot. My grandmother, if you're ever with her when she's eating soup, she like puts her napkin over the bowl as soon as she's done like eating her bite or two, you know, so she can keep it hot. So I don't know what it is about us, but that's like a weird family trait on the female line of the family, at least between my grandmother, my mother, and myself. I don't know if my aunts do that. And this is lukewarm. I can see it steaming, but because it's so cold here, it's cooling down really fast. We've been up and down in temperatures, kind of like a normal January. At least we're going up and not just down. We had a lot of snow, not as much as they predicted. Then it got really cold, down to the single digits. And then luckily I didn't have to work that day. It was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so I had the day off. And then it went back up. And I think it's going to go back down next week and be like 8 degrees one day when I have to teach. I'm not looking forward to that. All right, enough about the lame weather we're having here. Okay, so let me start with mentioning the giveaway winners. So I had 2 giveaways in my last video, one for 2,000 subscribers and one for my new design, but in honor of my Flosstube anniversary. So the winner of my Valentine's Day design is Sherry Nicolson, and she's already gotten back to me, so I've got everything ready to send out her prize, which was my design for Valentine's Day, which we'll be seeing shortly. And then the winner for Jolly Happy Soul, a fabric of your choosing, and the pins was Short Mom 5. And I contacted her about a week ago and I haven't heard anything. So if you're watching, please get in touch with me. I'll wait about another week or so. So next Saturday, if I haven't heard from you, I'll go ahead and draw another winner. But I would like to send it to you, so please get in touch. You can email me at misty@luminousfiberarts.com. Okay, so congratulations. I hope you'll enjoy your prize, Sherry and Short Mom 5. Okay, so let's just start off with a new start. And I am stitching with Barbie. She's Barbie's Pedal Pusher, and Helen D. We're doing a very Prairie Year Sal, which means that every month you choose a Prairie Schooler design that you'd like to stitch, and you can stitch it. And you can pick whatever design you want. You can start at any day of that month. It doesn't matter when. And you just pick one to work on every month to start. So that's what we're doing. So for January, I decided to start, shockingly, January. I know. So this is one I've been wanting to stitch since last January, in fact. And I'm stitching the sampler. If you're newer here, I have a window with shutters that's a decor piece that goes on the wall. And this is going to hang on the window someday when I finish it. And so I'm going to take out January though. I think I just want to do the seasons rather than the months. So I've recharted January to say winter. And I've started this. I started this January 15th. That's kind of what my goal start date was. So here is what I've got thus far. Let me see if I can put something behind it. So not a huge amount of progress here, but a decent amount. That little snowman and the kid building the snowman, it was like a small Heaven and Earth Designs piece. If they ever did small, this would be there, maybe something like that. So to me, this is intense stitching. I got a mitten done, you can see, and I'm using my 32 count Macchiato to stitch this on. I think it looks really nice. I have changed a few of the colors. So the white, I used B5200 rather than white. The red, I changed to the same red I was using for Happy Christmas, which I don't remember the number off the top of my head. It might be 347. It calls for 3777, which I'm using on button up. And I like it on button up, but for this one, for whatever reason, I didn't quite want it that shade of red. A little bit less, slightly less orange maybe, this color. And then the broom is a little bit more gold, which is also a color I used from Happy Christmas, 435, I think. So the thing is that I haven't decided what I want to do in terms of the color of the font. So in the pattern, the lettering is like a reddish brown and then more of a brownish brown. And I kind of think that I might want to make it a bluish color, but I'm not sure. A couple shades of blue, just like there's a couple shades here, kind of red-brown. So I am looking, I found probably like 6 candidates that I think could work, but I think I need to get more of it stitched and then assess whether it looks good. So I want to stitch the 2 mittens, assuming my scroll rod will let me see that much at one time. I think I'd like to maybe advance this a little bit and get a little bit of this stitched down here, then decide on my lettering and test it out, see if I like it. The thing that's tricky is that, I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually the colors to me are very autumnal, even though this is a winter design. When I pulled all the floss colors, I was, I looked at this, I noticed the colors, but once I pulled the flosses and looked at them, I thought, wow, this really looks like something I would use in a fall design, not a winter. I mean, I like them. It makes it tricky because I have to be careful about the blues that I choose, that they work with the design. So I want to make them not too gray, I think, for it to work. I'll see, but that's kind of where I'm thinking it needs to be more of a warmer shade of blue. I am not super in love with the shade of floss on the skein. It looks fine in the chart. Probably when I stitch it up, it'll look fine, but just on the skein, it's not my favorite, and I haven't found anything that I like that I think would work better. So I may just be using this. I might be switching it out. I feel like I own every color of DMC floss, but I don't. And so I need to maybe take a trip to Michael's or Joann's and look for alternatives. I have a floss card and I looked at that, but I just couldn't for sure tell. The floss cards are great and I have the real floss card, but sometimes just that little section of floss isn't enough to tell. So that's where I'm at with that. I think it's gorgeous. I love it, and I'm happy that I started it. I think it looks really good on the Macchiato. The reason I switched the white is so that it would pop a bit more on the Macchiato, and I think it really does. So I'm really happy with this. I have a couple charts left in my shop. I do not have Macchiato in this update. I will have it in the next one. I'm only one woman, and I can only dye so much. Did you ever watch Regis and Kathy Lee? And Regis would say, I'm only one man. So I'm only one woman, so sometimes I can't dye as much as I would like to. So look for Macchiato in not this update, but the next one in February. Okay, let's see. What else? I started something else that's not cross stitch, and that is knitting. And it was out of necessity. Not that I'm like opposed to knitting or anything like that, but just I got a lot going on and I wasn't necessarily in the mood to knit mittens, but mittens are a necessity when your current pair. So I wore a hole through the thumb on both of my mittens. So I've gotten this far. These are pop top mittens. And these kind of are in the same state. No thumb. But I'll clearly be knitting the thumb. So I love these. My friend Cynthia Spencer designed these, and they're my favorite mitten. I like regular mittens too, and I wear those if I'm just like exercising or something outside, like if I'm just going for a walk. But for work, I need to be able to get to my fingers. So right here where this ridge is where I'm going to attach the top that pops up off. And then I'll obviously pick up around here and knit the thumb the rest of the way. And I usually need to knit the thumb a little bit longer because of that wearing through over time. And as I wear these, I usually knit them in not super wash wool, so they do felt. And over time, this part gets pulled down. So it's good to have this as high as you can get it. And it's good to have the thumb up a little bit extra high because as it felts over the years, this will get more tight on your thumb and wear through. So that'll kind of make it last longer. So I'm using some shade of red of Cascade 220. I don't know which. And as you can see, I've made pretty good progress on these. So I'll be doing, like I said, the thumbs and then doing the pop top. And then I'll be done. The last time I knit these, I did them. This is what the pattern looks like. I'll put a link to her pattern in case you're interested. It's a really great pattern. Cynthia's really good at explaining things. So the last time I knitted these, I had put a little design, a little pattern on the top of the pop-up part here. And I think I might do that again. I really want to do it in a cream, but I think I'm going to regret that because it'll probably get dirty, but I really want to. So I don't know whether will or practicality will win out. We'll find out. Or if I'll just be like, I need these done and I can't keep fooling around, so just don't make them fancy at all. I don't know. I tried. Jan Hicks had talked about these a while ago on her video, and I think she did a demo of them, the Flexi Flips. So I'd not used these before, but Cynthia had recommended them to me. They're by Skacel. I like Addy Turbos, and I actually do like knitting on double pointed needles. I don't mind that at all. But what I found is that sometimes, well, so I've been knitting if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I've been knitting tiny things pretty much almost exclusively for the last year and a half. So you can imagine that going from fingering weight in size 1 knitting needles to worsted weight in size 5 and then 7 knitting needles. I felt like I was knitting with chopsticks and it was just weird. Like I was knitting for a giant. But sometimes one thing that happens to me when I'm knitting, and it felt like probably the needle size, my gauge has loosened up over time, which is good because I was a very tight knitter. I think that the needle size is no longer right for me, so I shouldn't be using a 7 to knit the body of the mittens. I should be using a 6. Anyway, my pinky will start to get hurt and almost feel like it's like out of joint sometimes when I'm trying to hold it tightly and knit for a while. So one thing I liked about this is that my pinky does not have to stick up, kind of bend around the needle the way that I knit. And I could knit faster with these, which was awesome. And the other thing I like is that they have a pointy end. I never like the dull end. I never like any of the addies that have the dull end. I only like pointy. So I can just not use this end. And if you watch Jan's video, you'll know this, but you use 2 to hold the project, and then you're knitting with the 3rd needle. It's less impressive looking to people who don't knit because people are always in awe, and even I was before I really knew how to use double pointed needles. Like it's more impressive to have double pointed needles than these, but I can knit a lot faster and it's easier on my hands. So if you're a knitter, this might be less intimidating for you than double pointed needles, and it's a little bit easier on me personally. And they have the bamboo as well if you're a bamboo needle knitter. I am not, but they have them. The other thing I wanted to show you that's knitting related, and then we'll get back to cross stitch. This awesome thing. So when we were at Yarn Market in the summer, my friend Cynthia ordered these for her shop, and I was like, when you get them in, I'm gonna need one. And then I was like, wait, I'm gonna do a lot of Fair Isle someday. Again, I need two. So you can see, a lot of times it doesn't even need to spin, but if it does, you know, it just does that. It's amazing. I don't remember what these are called, but I'll link them in case you're interested. But it's so amazing. I love it. Sometimes you think you have all the gadgets you could ever need, and then sometimes you're like, oh, and there's another one that I need too. So I haven't bought it yet, but I'll probably be back with that in the next video. Alrighty, back to stitching. I have some finishes. Fancy that. Let's do the finishes, then we'll do the whips. So I finished Happy Christmas. I was stitching this with Helen. We kind of hosted it, and then a number of people joined in on Instagram, which was awesome. And now that Hoffman has re-released this design, you can join in too. I mean, there's no reason that Sal can't keep going just because we finished. One of the rare occasions when I actually finish a Sal within a reasonable amount of time. I love how it turned out. I think it's wonderful. I stitched this on 32 count Midnight, which is my kind of blackish colored fabric. It's black and kind of gray. Sometimes the gray goes more towards blue, and sometimes it goes more towards like a pinkish gray or a little bit purplish gray. It varies according to the dye lot. The current dye lot is a little bit more towards a pinkish or purplish gray. And actually, depending on the light, that's kind of what this looks like. It looks different in different lighting. I had subbed out the red for a different red. I also changed the gold. I changed the squirrel color, and I changed the smoke to be blue rather than gray. You can't tell, but I had tried changing the green. This is actually a slightly different shade of green than this. It's a little bit brighter. It seemed too bright once I started stitching down here, but I couldn't bring myself to go back in and take it out. I don't think you can honestly really tell. But it makes it stand out a little bit more, which is kind of cool. This was the most fun thing I have stitched in a long time. I loved every stitch of it. I look forward to stitching the ornaments. I could see myself stitching little sections of this. It was just the most fun thing ever. I don't know why. So satisfying. So enjoyable. So we started this November 1st, and I finished this January 13th. So for me, that's really good. It went fast. I mean, shockingly fast. So I'm thrilled. Let's see. I think I'm going to frame it, but I haven't even taken the time to look through what I own to see if there's anything else I could finish it on. So I need to take some time to do that. And then if I don't see anything that I think will work, I will consider then just maybe going to the frame shop and looking into frames there. So I have copies of the reprint of Happy Christmas, which just came out. They're in my shop. I have Midnight fabric available in my shop. You can find it in Ada 14 and 16 count. It's a little bit more gray in the Ada, and then it's available in 28 and 32 count in the linen. I have one piece of 40 count also, in case you're really brave. Like some people, Kim. So what else do I want to say about that? Anything? Oh, you just need really good lighting to stitch on this. I have a Mighty Bright clip light that I clip onto my frame, and I position it right over the piece, and that helps so much. So you really need like direct lighting right on it. And if you do that, I think it'll help you a lot. Like I was even able to stitch this at night. So, but if I didn't have the light, I wouldn't have been able to. I'm not even sure I could have stitched it in the day without the light. So just remember, good lighting is essential. One last look because it's so gorgeous. I'm so pleased. Okay. Feels good when I finish something. And now I would like to talk to you about my latest design. So I'm going to grab that. I'm so excited to share this with you. So I wanted to design a Valentine's design. I wanted it to be really frilly and girly and kind of have a little bit of a vintage feel to it. So I had this vision of something with a heart-shaped balloon. I decided pretty early on I wanted a bird holding a heart-shaped balloon, and that I wanted some kind of lacy border. So the actual like main idea of the concept I came up with quite quickly. And then it was just tweaking kind of size, shape, position of the balloon, making sure everything was balanced, and then choosing the colors. So I decided I wanted some words. So I decided to put Be Mine on the design, and that actually took quite a bit of tweaking, trying to decide what font I wanted to use. At one point I had kind of a block font, and another point I had kind of slanted font. I had to keep moving the balloon's tail around to fit in the font, and so that was actually more challenging than the concept itself, and kind of getting the bird and the balloon design. Those were actually pretty quick. So I finally got what I wanted in terms of the kind of style of it. And then I just added some hearts and chose my colors, and it usually takes me maybe like a week to pick out floss. So I'll kind of, you know, I'll when I design with Max Stitch, I'll come up with colors, and then I'll actually go through and look at the flosses and kind of tweak from there. And I had a darker floss for the font, and I'll just show you the pattern so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the pattern. I had a darker floss for the font originally, and then I realized it was going to be too dark and too heavy for the design, so I changed it to a little bit lighter color. And originally these hearts were going to be red, but then I thought that maybe that was just a little bit too much. So this is the design. It's called A Bluebird's Message. I love it. I'll show you the actual piece, which is way more exciting than the flat pattern. Oh, I'm so happy with it. So this is stitched on 40 count soft porcelain, and that's a color that I've had before, so I brought it back for this design. I used Weeks Dye Works flosses to stitch this up. I've got, what have I got here? Aztec Red, Raspberry, Peony, Morris Blue, Turkish Red, Sky, and Peach Fuzz. And then 3 shades of DMC, 415, 37.99, and 9.39. So when I designed this, so I'm stitching this on 40 count, I calculated I use like a stitch estimator, or excuse me, like a floss estimator to determine whether you would need more than 1 skein or 1 skein. So if you were stitching this on 14 count, it estimated 1 skein, which I thought was a little too close for comfort. And even using it myself on the 40 count, I felt like I was using really close to half a skein. So to be safe, when I made floss packs for you, I made it with 2 skeins of this border color to make sure that you had enough. So there's 7 different colors, but there's actually 8 skeins of floss in your pack, so that you don't have to worry about running out, because that's a bummer. So I always do the floss estimator whenever I do a floss pack, just so you know. So as long as it's like 3/4 of a skein or less for the lowest count, like which should be 14, then I figure you're good with 1 skein. So I'm thrilled with how it turned out. I love it so much. I've been enjoying having it on display since I finished it. And it was kind of a lot of work to try and get this out so quickly after the other design, because I had it stitched since just before Christmas, but then trying to finish it up and get the pattern ordered so quickly, I'll be honest, it was stressful. It was a lot while I'm also working full time and dyeing fabric. So I knew it was going to be kind of not smart of me in terms of my mental health, but I just couldn't let it go. I just liked it so much that I couldn't not release it this year. I was just too excited about it. So this is finished using Vonna's tutorial for the stuffed pillow with the ruched ribbon and the beads. The ribbon is from Lady Dot Creates, and it's called Peachy. I'll link it below in the video, and I'll link it below the video, not in the video. These little beads I picked up at a bead shop when I was in Marshall, Michigan, but you know, they're just pink beads, little seed beads. I thought that the ruching was much faster than I expected it to go, and pretty fun. I enjoyed it way more than sewing on cording. So I'll definitely be using the ruching again, and I just loved doing those beads. That was a lot of fun. So I made this I did sew the back up. I know that you don't necessarily have to do that, that you could have just done it along the bottom here, but usually when I do it along the bottom, it kind of bunches up and doesn't look that good, even when you cover it up. Like, it just doesn't get as full. So I tried to stuff this Vonna to your standards. I'm not sure that I'm quite as good as you, but I aimed high. I tried to get it as stuffed as I could. So I used Vonna's recommended Mountain Mist, and I'll confess that I didn't think it would make that much difference. I've used other polyfills for like crochet amigurumi and things like that, and I didn't think it would make that much difference. So, you know, Vonna always knows best. She knows what she's talking about, and it was better, and I liked it more. So I did finish this with interfacing and a piece of white fabric behind it, as she said to do, and then I did actually piece the back and leave an unsewn part here, which I stuffed through. And I used what's it called? There's a tool that you can get that helps you like stuff corners. I got one of those for Christmas, so I used that to help me with the corners. The first time I finished this, I had tried to put pom-pom trim on, and it was the wrong color, and it just looked awful. So I had to like rip it all out. The back was ruined. I had to make a new back. I was very stressed. I'm like, don't ruin it, Misty. Thank goodness I did not ruin it, and it turned out fine. What else do I want to say about this? There's not a lot of story to this other than just I wanted something cute and frilly and that would look good in like a dough bowl or a tiered tray or just anywhere. And now I'm so excited. This is my first actual Valentine's design that I've stitched ever. I've wanted to do some others, but I never got around to it. So I guess the only solution is to design one myself so that I can force myself to do it. Is there anything else I wanted to mention to you about that? Oh, no back stitching, no fractional stitches, just full cross stitches. So it's a really easy piece to stitch. I'm really glad I ended up going with the cursive font. I think that looks way better than some of the other fonts I was trying to draw myself I mean, I drew this too, but it just didn't look as good as this. So I'm really happy that I chose that in the end. So I'm thrilled with this. I hope that you will enjoy stitching it, and you know that it'll kind of brighten if you live in the Northern Hemisphere. I hope that it will brighten your chilly winter days. So that, again, is a Bluebird's message. The pattern is available as a PDF download and as a printed pattern in my shop. Soft Porcelain is available in my shop on all accounts of linen, Lugana, and Ada. And the floss packs are available too. So that was super exciting. I have been like so excited to tell you about that. It's been hard to not share it so long. I've been going crazy. Like, I'm so excited. I just want to tell everyone, but I couldn't tell anyone yet. I was trying to wait. Thanks for humoring me. I received, did I get everything? Oh, whips. It's one of those days. Whips. So I am stitching Button Up with Helen D and Amy of Amy Loves Toads. We started this on Christmas Day. Feel free to join us whenever you like. It is not a fast stitch, so I won't be done with it anytime soon. It is also sort of full coverage in a way. I'm stitching mine on Snow Day, 32 count Snow Day. Oops, where did my little board go? I moved it. That's what happens when you try to be efficient. You're almost too efficient for your own good. Okay, so Button Up is coming along awesomely. I'm very, very happy with it. It is, like I said, though, super slow. And oh my gosh, let me tell you, though. I was stitching this. I had this much white done. And then the next morning, I grabbed the white and stitched this. I turned off the light and realized it was not the same white. I had grabbed the white from a different project again. Remember, that happened up here. I was like, if this happens again, I might throw this away. Now, I won't really throw it away, but I was like really mad at myself for doing that. So Helen's like, maybe that needs to go in the timeout, the white or something. So I kind of rearranged how I'm storing my floss so that all the floss for a project has to go in one bag, and I have to grab that whole bag instead of having, I apparently wasn't organized enough. Anyway, It's adorable. I'm really happy with how it's looking, but it is slow going. So if it's taking you forever, don't feel bad because it's also taking me forever. But it's just so cute that, you know, you can't mind too much that it's a time investment because, like, how can you resist this cuteness? This is Snow Day. I'm doing 32 count, if I didn't already say that. Am I changing any of the colors? No, I don't think I have changed any of the colors. I think they're all the called for. So why I don't mind using 3777 here, but why I mind it elsewhere, I can't tell you. I don't know. I really like this fabric for it. I think it's really nice. This is a little bit better in the light. So that's coming along nicely. I feel like it's good. I'm really looking forward to, things are about to fall down, the center square here with the little kid making the snow angel. I think that's going to be awesome. And the little cardinal in the tree. So yeah, I guess if worse came to worse and you really like wore out in the middle of it, you could just stop after you finished a row. So like if I don't think this would happen, but if I got really tired of it, I could always just not do this row, do that, and then make these as ornaments some other time. I don't think that'll happen. I think I'm okay, but you know, we're all fickle sometimes, right? I think I can make it to the end. Let's see, what's next? The only other thing that I worked on that's a whip was Halo, my quilt, and I'll have to insert a photo of it here. So Halo, I've been working on that for I don't even know how long now. We're mostly not working on it for I don't even know how long. And I love it. It's a very scrappy quilt. And I mean, I pick out the fabrics for each block individually. It can sometimes take me an hour just to decide which fabrics to use. So, or more. Sometimes it's really fast. It just depends on the block and what I'm trying to combine. So it's really a labor of love and a time-intensive project. Plus I'm sewing curves. But I'm on the last row of the main part of the quilt. So there's going to be 72 blocks, I think, in the main body of the quilt. And I'm on like 66, I think, that I just finished. So I finished one block the other day. I took an unscheduled day, is what my friend Pam calls it. She's Gingerbread Snowflakes on Instagram. And it was kind of a mistake in a way. I mean, for me, an unscheduled day was like, I'm not going to do any work, which was good, but I think I couldn't really take a full day. And then it made the next day like the longest work day ever. I had to work like the entire day, literally. It was like a 16-hour day or more. So I think I can really only take half days for the most part, but at least in the morning I got to quilt and that was awesome. And I was so happy to get another block done. Then I have to do the border around the quilt, which kind of makes those circles float. And I have to do like a gazillion of those, but they should be faster because it's just one like pie wedge, I think, per block. So sometime this year, I think I might finish the top. I don't know. And I had this fantasy that I was going to hand quilt it, but now I'm thinking, yeah, you don't have time for that. So I think I might at some point send it out to be quilted, maybe next year. I like to make myself like a bed quilt every 10 years, and I'll be closing in on the next decade pretty soon here, next year. So I think that that could be my birthday present to myself, is to get it quilted, because I think it'll look awesome. I mean, it would look really awesome if I hand quilted it with some pearl cotton, but yeah, I just don't think I have the time to do that. So it was good to get back to that quilt. I actually got kind of tired of it. Last spring, I went to a retreat and I sewed on it the entire weekend and cut blocks for it the entire weekend and really cranked it. And then after that, I just was like, okay, I don't even want to see this quilt anymore for a while. And so I didn't. So now I'm finally to the point where I'm ready to see it again. That retreat's coming up again. So maybe the same thing will happen. I don't know. I might try to space my quilting out a little bit more there so that I don't get tired of Halo. Okay, now on to a couple of things that I received. I received from Marie, oh, let me take it out of the bag here. So Marie had won one of my giveaways for some embroidery patterns. She's in Australia. And she was so kind. She didn't have to do this, but she sent me this really pretty thank you card. And she sent me these really cool flosses. I've never seen them before from Threadworks. Thank you so much, Marie. So that was awesome. And I also received something from Barbie, since we're doing the Very Prairie Year Sal. Barbie sent Helen and I a little gift. So if you've watched Helen's video, you'll have seen this awesomeness. Isn't that clever? So cute. So this is from the January chart that I'm stitching. I love it. So I stuck this, thank you so much, Barbie. I stuck this on the aforementioned window in my living room where my little knit clothesline is hanging. It looks great there. So I'm really enjoying this. Thank you so much. What a cute finish. Alrighty, shout outs. I have watched a lot of Flosstube, but it's been kind of broken up, sporadic. I'm doing something else at the same time. I'm eating lunch and I have to leave. So I have not been commenting, and I want to comment. It's just not been, there's just not been enough time. So I should be able to get back to commenting more regularly. So if I normally watch you, I've watched you and enjoyed your videos, and I'm sorry that I haven't had time to comment. I did make some time to watch some new to me Flosstubers. Everyone's been shouting out the Sunshine Stitchers. That's EJ, Shelia, and Gary. And they were really fun to watch. I watched their most recent regular video, and I watched their tour of their needle workshop. Both were really fun. They're such a neat group of people. And I've been hearing like everyone talk about them. So I was surprised to see that they were already to video 13, meaning I think they're recording every week, that they already had 13 weeks of videos, and it took me that long to finally watch them. So I really enjoyed it. They were great. So if you haven't checked them out yet, I really recommend them. I watched the Steel City Stitchers. I shouted them out on Instagram, but I'll shout them out here as well. It's a group of 4 ladies. It's Jodi, Kristen, Erin, and Erika, and they're in the Pittsburgh area. I would hang out with them. I wish we lived closer. It would be so fun. They were just like a really fun group of stitchers, and so they kind of rotate who's on camera. They change seats and share what they're doing. At least the video that I watched of theirs, that's how they did it. And I liked that they were stitching on kind of unconventional things as well as fabric. So one of them stitched on a pegboard, and another one was talking about stitching on like a ceramic piece that she'd made. I just thought that was cool that they were like trying stuff, you know, trying different things, and they just seemed really enthusiastic about their stitching. I thought it was just a really neat group. Please check them out. I watched Olivia of Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. I've been following her on Instagram for a while, so she's a quilter and stitcher. And I thought, as she said at the beginning of her video somewhere, that, you know, no one tells you how nerve-wracking it is to make these videos. I agree, it's nerve-wracking. I think it took me, I thought I would get more comfortable making videos within like maybe 10 or 12 of them. I don't know, when I finally just noticed recently that it doesn't really make me nervous to make videos anymore. But I mean, it's been like maybe when I hit 20 or something. So it does take a while to not be nervous, but I thought Olivia seemed very comfortable, and you know, you couldn't tell that she was nervous. So good job, Olivia. You go, girl. Let's see what else. I watched Sassy Stitching Sisters and Brother. Everybody was talking about them too, and I had to check them out. They were so fun and so cute. I hope they don't mind that I think they're cute. I loved their enthusiasm and the way that they relate to one another. And I liked their projects and their just, you know, excitement at getting into cross stitch. I think they have more discipline than I did at their age, because, you know, I made one cross stitch the whole time that I was younger, and it took me a while to finish it, and that was it. Maybe Flosstube had been around when I was a kid. Maybe I would have done more. I don't know. I really thought it was amusing when they celebrated a finish with a shot of Dr. Pepper. I think that's a great idea. I don't drink pop, but maybe I can find something like a shot of hot cocoa or something. I don't know. It was a good idea. And I also enjoyed their tour of their needle workshop. That was pretty fun. So definitely check them out if you have not done so. Then plans. I haven't told you this, but I'm really excited. I am going to be going weather permitting, I assume, because it's March, I'm going to Nashville to market. Isn't that awesome? So I'm not going to vend. I'm just going to as a shop. My friend and I are going as shops, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to see what it's like. I'm excited to see if there's anything I would want to carry in my shop in the future, and maybe open up some wholesale accounts with a few different people. I'd like to just see what it's about in case I would like to maybe attend as a vendor sometime with my patterns. So I'm just really looking forward. I'm looking forward to meeting people, like some designers I really admire and some floss tubers who I know will be there. So if you're going to be there, please say hi. So I normally can't do this kind of thing. I can't usually just take off on a weekend in the middle of the school year. Like I can never cancel class. I would have to get a substitute. The substitute would have to work for free. And the substitute, like it would be one of my colleagues who already has a full load. So I never, ever ask people to sub unless I am like almost dead sick or there's a funeral. Because I know it's a big burden to have to teach someone else's class when you've already got a full load. It's too much. So what happens though, is it's right before spring break and it happens to be an exam day. So I was able to ask my boss actually if she would just run my exams after the exam over to be scanned, run all of the exams. And she was like, I could even just, fill in for your class if you want. Because all it would be is proctoring an exam and reading the listening part of the exam to them in Spanish. And I was like, really? Isn't that nice of her to offer that? So I get to go. We get to leave Thursday. It's going to be a really long drive to Nashville. It's going to be 2 days, most of Thursday and part of Friday. I'm so excited though. So fingers crossed for me. Please pray for good weather because I really want to go. I don't want to be thwarted by winter. So yeah, we are definitely driving. Neither of us are big fans of flying. So we'll be there. We'll get there Friday and we plan to leave sometime Sunday afternoon to come back. Then my mom is going to come visit a couple days later during the rest of my spring break. So that's how I'm able to go, is that I'm getting covered for an exam and I have spring break. That's the only way that I'm able to do this. If there were, some other kind of retreat somewhere, I wouldn't be able to make it. I just can't get away like that. So then my mom's coming. We're going to hang out since she couldn't make it for Thanksgiving. And normally she wouldn't be able to come either. her goats, she wasn't thinking she was going to breed her goats at all. So she wasn't going to have any babies. And then she decided to, but she didn't do it until just recently. So she'll have babies way, way later than normal. She would usually have them starting February or March. She won't have them until probably June. So that means that she, for the first time ever, can actually like go somewhere in the spring and not have babies to worry about. So I'm really excited that we're going to get to hang out. Yeah, she's never been here in the spring. And then I'm also excited because what that means, so it's like a pro and a con. When you have a bunch of baby goats and she bottle feeds them all by hand, it means that when I go visit her, which will probably be June, anytime we want to go anywhere, we only have like a small window and then we have to be back to feed baby goats. But I have not been home when there were really little baby goats for a long time. And I really love it when they're small and so cute. I mean, they're cute later, but they're really cute when they're really small. So I'm super excited that they're coming late this year. So I get to see them as babies. So that's what I got going on in the upcoming couple months. Just survived week 3 of the spring semester, which is really the winter semester. It's going pretty fast for me. And let's talk about stashquisitions. I don't know if I've ever called it that, but let's call it that. I have acquired a few things for my stash. I decided, this very Prairie year thing is kind of, just makes me buy more Prairie Schooler, which I was already doing anyway. I had been wanting the Christmas miniatures, I decided, and I was able to get this on eBay for a very, very reasonable price, along with this one, which is a spring miniatures. Isn't that adorable? Look at that sheep and the cow. Oh, the swan is so good. I'm really going to enjoy that. So I was super excited. And look how fast they'll be. I'm all about that. Oh, there's one that didn't make it in the pile. So then I also got a few other things. Not surprisingly, a little bit more Prairie Schooler. I got the Christmas alphabet. And I think it would be cool. I like the Merry Christmas. I also like the idea of just doing like Noel, joy, peace, or doing someone's first name initial possibly as a gift for Christmas. And so I think this will be really fun. Quick little designs. Can you hear the neighbor dog barking in the distance? I don't know if you can hear that or not. So this. Now I have stitched, if you recall, I've stitched this, and I believe I even have this, but I don't have this. These were all in Just Cross Stitch magazine. And I don't have the issue with this, and I couldn't easily get it on eBay. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna buy this, and that way I just really need to stitch this cat. I really do. So now this can happen. Britter cup. And one more Britter cup, because I like a kitty in a scarf. This one's cute too. This is the February one. So they have like a monthly two months per pattern series. And I just really needed this cat that doesn't quite like stepping in the snow with the scarf. So cute. So I got that. Those are my Stashquisitions. Other things, just a couple more things for my Etsy shop. I got some patterns that I had been longing for my shop. I want them. I got them for the shop. So I got this one. This is by Madame Chantilly. It's called what is it called? My Love. And I just think it's so pretty and like elegant and simple. Look at those flowers. And this would stitch up so quickly. I really wanted to stitch this last year. Again, one of those things where it's like I have all these big plans, but I really would like to stitch this. I think you could do this on a lot of different fabrics and it would look good. I'm thinking possibly a gray, maybe even, you know, it might look really cool on a navy blue. Okay. And then another one that I had been longing for, Redbird Sampler. So this is in my shop too. I think it's so pretty. This is by Heart and Hand, Cecilia Turner. So lovely. Really nice. And it comes with, let's see if I can show it to you without showing you the pattern. Not really. There's a little charm inside that's this heart-shaped button, and it comes with that. And I just love this. And I think she used Lancaster red for this from Weeks Dye Works, but I think, man, just pick your favorite red, DMC or overdyed. I'd like to do it in a red silk, like maybe Tulip from Classic Colorworks, which is what I'm using for my cardinal. I don't know if it's too orange. I'll have to look at it again. But yeah, I mean, pick your favorite red and stitch this and it would be great. And it would be also a quick stitch. So these are both like kind of fun little projects that would be quick to stitch up. That is, I think, all I have for today. Yeah, that went a little bit faster than I thought it would. Maybe this isn't an hour-long video. We'll see. But I've got more patterns in stock of Snow Mini Friends. I've got more floss packs in stock. Indigo's back in stock. Snow Day's back in stock. Midnight's in stock. Soft Porcelain. So lots of colors are in stock. I had a couple solos of a pink fabric that were supposed to be sweet pink but dyed a little bit darker. And I think those would be gorgeous if you want to do some Valentine stitching on those. They're in my shop. So if you'd like to get notifications of when I have an update, you can sign up for my newsletter. The URL for that is listed in the description box below the video. You can find me on Instagram as Luminous Fiber Arts, and you can follow me on Facebook if you'd like. I pretty much just post shop updates there. On Instagram, I post my own projects as well as my business, you know, my designs and what have you. So I think I may try coming back in 2 weeks with a video rather than 3. I'm going to see how it goes. 3 at the latest, but possibly 2. I'm just going to see how much I get done. If I have enough to do a video in 2 weeks, I'll do that instead. If I don't, I'll wait. So I hope that you're well. Hope that you're getting lots of stitching time in. I hope that you're staying warm. Or that if you're someplace warm like Australia, I hope you're staying cool. I wish that we could kind of like mix our air. And you could give us some of your temperatures, and we could give you some of ours, and then we could all just be like very comfortable. I don't know why that's not possible, but I wish it were. Oh, one thing I want to say, before I go as a plan that I didn't really mention. I'm going to next month for a very Prairie ear style stitch Signs of Spring from Prairie Schooler. So I don't know which one I'm going to start with. I think I may do this for 2 months, or I might do this and then one of the egg-shaped designs. I haven't decided, but I'm going to do spring for 2 months. I'll do one in February, another spring one for March at least. I am leaning towards the fowl. Possibly, I think, you know, maybe the chicken. I assume this is supposed to be a rooster. It looks like it's a rooster. So the hen or the rooster. Not sure which. I have some copies of this in cardstock also in my shop if you want to stitch this as well. I think I'm going to stitch mine on Macchiato, but I would need to pull the flosses first to make that call. So we'll see what I ultimately decide to do. I could do a really unusual color too. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, now I think that's really all. And if it's not, that's just too bad for me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that you have a wonderful 2 to 3 weeks, depending on when I see you next. But regardless, I hope they're wonderful. And I will talk to you soon. Take care.